A 70-year-old woman walked into a mall food court, sat down with her coffee, and immediately stood back up and left. She didn't see anything. She didn't hear anything. She just felt wrong. 3 hours later, police shut down that same food court after a stabbing. When someone asked her how she knew, she said, "I didn't. My body did." Hundreds of people left comments under home defense videos in the last 18 months, crediting one method with saving their lives. Not a gun, not a system, not a technique. Something you already own but might have turned off years ago. And if you can turn it back on in the next 30 seconds, you'll be safer tonight than someone who spent $3,000 on cameras. I'm Max. Today on Outfox Apocalypse, I'm going to show you the defense method that works whether you're 75 or 25, armed or unarmed, fit or in a wheelchair. And I'm saving the science of why your brain is better at threat detection than any AI system for the end. Pay attention. This is the method hundreds of people swear saved their life, and most of them didn't even know they were using it. Let me tell you about the invisible weapon every predator fears. It's not strength, it's not speed, it's the moment you notice them noticing you. That split second when they realize you're not distracted, not unaware, not an easy target. That moment ends more attacks than every self-defense technique combined. And it costs absolutely nothing, because you were born with it. It's called situational awareness. And if you rolled your eyes just now, you're exactly who needs to hear this. Because the home security industry has spent 40 years convincing you that safety comes from a box you bolt to your wall. It doesn't. It comes from the space between your ears and the decision to use it before you need it. Here's what nobody tells you. Awareness isn't paranoia. It's not looking over your shoulder every 5 seconds or jumping at shadows. It's the deliberate practice of knowing what's around you, what's normal, and what just changed. It's the skill that kept humans alive for 200,000 years before we had door locks. And it still works, especially when you're older, slower, and can't fight your way out of a bad situation. According to data from the Department of Justice, the vast majority of violent crimes are crimes of opportunity. The attacker picks a target based on perceived vulnerability, not actual vulnerability, perceived. Which means if you look aware, if you look like you're paying attention, if you make eye contact and acknowledge their presence, you just stopped being the easy choice. And predators, like every other animal on this planet, prefer easy choices. A retired cop left a comment under a self-defense video. 26 years in law enforcement. He said, "Criminals are lazy. They want the path of least resistance." If you look like you're paying attention, they move on to someone who isn't. That's not philosophy. That's 26 years of watching how criminals actually choose victims. So let's talk about what situational awareness actually is, why most people have turned it off, and how to turn it back on in the next 30 seconds. Situational awareness has 4 levels. The first level is relaxed awareness. You're not on high alert. You're not scared. You're just noticing. You walk into a room and you see who's there. You get out of your car and you glance around before you lock the door. You're at a gas station and you notice the guy 3 pumps over looking at you. Not because you think he's dangerous, because you're awake. That's it. You're awake. Most people live in condition white. That's the term law enforcement uses. Condition white means oblivious. Head down, earbuds in, phone out. Thinking about dinner or work or the argument you had yesterday. Condition white is where most assaults happen. Not because you're weak, because you didn't see it coming until it was too late to matter. Here's why that's especially dangerous if you're over 60. When you were younger, you could react fast enough to recover from a mistake. Someone grabbed your arm, you pulled away. Someone stepped too close, you stepped back. Your body could buy you time your brain didn't give you. That window gets smaller every year. By the time you're 70, reaction time isn't your friend. Awareness is. You can't afford to be surprised. Because surprise at 70 means you're already on the ground before you've processed what's happening. The second level is focused awareness. This is when something changes. Someone who wasn't there a minute ago is suddenly 10 feet away. A car that passed you once just passed you again. A guy at the gas station is watching you instead of pumping gas. You're not panicking. You're noticing the anomaly. Your brain is designed to do this. It's a survival mechanism older than language. The problem is, we've trained ourselves to ignore it. How many times have you felt uneasy and then talked yourself out of it? You're being paranoid. You're overreacting. It's nothing. That voice in your head that tells you to calm down? It's lying. Because your subconscious brain processes threats faster than your conscious brain can explain them. That feeling of wrongness isn't random. It's pattern recognition. Your brain has seen thousands of normal interactions. When something breaks the pattern, it sends you a signal. And most people ignore the signal because they don't want to look foolish. A woman left a comment under a home defense video. She's 65, lives alone, always cautious. She said, "I listen when my intuition says something is wrong. When my God-given early warning system activates, I believe and trust it." That comment got over 1,000 likes. Because hundreds of other people know exactly what she's talking about. They felt it, and the ones who listened are still here to talk about it. Here's the science. Your brain processes visual information in two pathways. The fast pathway bypasses your conscious awareness and goes straight to your amygdala, the part of your brain that handles threat detection. It's scanning for danger every second you're awake. The slow pathway goes to your visual cortex, where you actually see and interpret what you're looking at. The fast pathway is faster by a fraction of a second, which means your body knows something is wrong before your brain can explain why. That's not mysticism, that's neuroscience. When you feel uneasy, your amygdala has already detected a threat your conscious brain hasn't caught up to yet. Ignoring that feeling isn't rational, it's dangerous. Because you're overriding 200,000 years of evolution that kept your ancestors alive long enough to become your ancestors. Now let's talk about why you turned it off. Because you did. Most people do. And it's not your fault. It's the cost of living in a society that pretends to be safe. You turned it off because looking at strangers is rude. You turned it off because making eye contact might seem aggressive. You turned it off because your phone is more interesting than the parking lot. You turned it off because you've walked into the grocery store 500 times and nothing has ever happened, so you assume nothing ever will. And you turned it off because nobody wants to live in a state of fear. But here's the thing, awareness isn't fear. Fear is what happens when you don't have awareness, and suddenly you need it. Awareness is calm. It's just data collection. You're not assuming everyone is a threat. You're just noticing who's there and what they're doing. That's it. The moment you label it as paranoia, you've already lost, because paranoia is irrational fear. Awareness is rational preparation. A 75-year-old Vietnam veteran left a comment. He said, "I totally agree with you about being aware of your surroundings. It helped me survive." Over 500 people liked that comment because they understand the difference between paranoia and survival. Paranoia is seeing threats that aren't there. Awareness is seeing threats that are. So here's how you turn it back on, right now, in the next 30 seconds, and then I'll tell you what to do with it once it's on. Step 1. Every time you walk into a room, stop for 2 seconds and look. Don't analyze. Don't judge. Just see who's there. Count the exits. Notice where the windows are. That's it. 2 seconds. If you can't spare 2 seconds, you're not too busy. You're too distracted, and distraction is what gets you hurt. Step 2. When you're in public, take your earbuds out. I don't care if you like music. I don't care if the world is loud. You need to hear what's around you. Sound is faster than vision. You'll hear someone behind you before you see them. You'll hear a car door open before you see who got out. Hearing is your early warning system. And you've muted it because you didn't want to listen to the world. Turn it back on. Step 3. Make eye contact. Not staring, not aggressive, just acknowledgement. You see me? I see you. We both know the other exists. That's it. Predators rely on anonymity. The moment you look at them, you've removed it. You've told them, I noticed you, and that changes the equation. Because now they have to assume you'll remember them, you'll describe them, you'll identify them, and that makes you a bad choice. Someone wrote, criminals are lazy. They want the path of least resistance. If you look like you're paying attention, they move on. That's the whole game. You're not trying to win a fight. You're trying to not be in one. And the way you do that is by making yourself look like more trouble than you're worth. Step 4. Trust the feeling. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. You don't need to know why. You don't need proof. You don't need to justify it to anyone. If your gut says leave, you leave. If your gut says don't go down that aisle, you don't. If your gut says this gas station feels bad, you drive to the next one. You are not overreacting. You are listening to the part of your brain that has kept humans alive since before we had language. A 60-year-old man left a comment. He said, half my lifetime ago, I thought awareness was paranoia. Now I know it's the only reason I'm still here. That's not an exaggeration. That's pattern recognition. The people who survive long enough to be 60 learn to trust their gut. The ones who didn't aren't here to leave comments. Now let's talk about what this looks like in practice, because theory doesn't save your life, action does. You're at a gas station, you pull up to the pump. Before you get out of the car, you look around. Who's there? Are they pumping gas or standing around? Is anyone watching you? If yes, you've just activated level 1 awareness. You're not scared. You're just informed. You get out and you keep your keys in your hand. Not buried in your purse, not in your pocket, in your hand. Because if something happens, you need to be back in that car in 3 seconds, not 30. You start pumping gas. A car pulls up 2 pumps away. Driver doesn't get out, just sits there. That's an anomaly. You've been to gas stations 1,000 times. People get out and pump gas. Sitting in the car watching you is not normal behavior. Your brain flags it. That's level 2 awareness. You're not panicking. You're watching. You make eye contact. You let them know you see them. And you stay next to your car door, not wandering off to look at your phone or clean your windshield. If they get out and walk toward you, that's level 3. High alert. You stop the pump, hang the nozzle back on the holder, takes 2 seconds, and you get in your car, lock the doors, and leave. You just lost $10 of gas and bought yourself the chance to go home tonight. That's a trade you take every time, because the cost of being wrong about a threat is embarrassment. The cost of being wrong about safety is your life. A 70-year-old man left a comment about exactly this scenario. He said, I was at a gas station. A guy was sizing me up based solely on my age. It was a sobering moment, but because he noticed, because he made eye contact, because he stayed alert, nothing happened. The guy moved on. That's the whole point. You don't win by fighting. You win by not being chosen. Here's another scenario. You're walking to your car in a parking lot. It's evening. Not dark yet, but getting there. You notice a man standing near your car. He's not getting into a car. He's not walking to the store. He's just standing there. That's level 2 awareness. You stop walking. You don't go closer. You turn around, go back inside, and you ask security or a store employee to walk you to your car. If they say they can't, you wait until another customer is leaving, and you ask them to walk with you. Most people will say yes, because most people understand what you're avoiding. If there's no one to ask, you call someone. Friend, family, 911 if necessary. You tell them where you are and that you're walking to your car and something feels wrong. You stay on the phone the whole time. You make it obvious you're on the phone. Because now you're not a lone target, you're a complication, and complications make you a bad choice. A woman left a comment. She's 72, severely disabled, uses a cane or 2. She said, I can barely walk, but I stay aware. I make eye contact. I let people know I see them. And I've never been a victim. That's not luck, that's strategy. She can't run, she can't fight, but she can observe, and observation is enough. Now let's talk about the one place most people turn off their awareness completely. Home, because home feels safe, and that feeling is going to get you hurt. You come home from work or the store. You pull into your driveway. Do you look around before you get out of the car? Most people don't. They're home. They're tired. They're thinking about what's for dinner. They get out, grab their bags, walk to the door, unlock it, walk inside. And they never once look to see if anyone followed them into the driveway, or if someone was waiting by the side of the house, or if the door was already unlocked when it shouldn't have been. Here's what you do instead. You pull into your driveway and you pause. 5 seconds. You look at your front door. Is it closed? Is the lock intact? Are there footprints in the dirt by the window? Is the gate open when you left it closed? You're not looking for proof of a break-in. You're looking for anything that's different from when you left. Because different means something changed. And if you didn't change it, someone else did. If something looks wrong, you do not go inside. You back out of the driveway and you call the police. You tell them you think someone broke into your house. You wait for them to clear it. You do not go inside to check, because if someone is in your house, you just walked into an ambush. And you can't win an ambush when you're 70 and they're 30, and you don't know they're there until they're already on top of you. A retired cop left a comment. He said, "I clear my own house every time I come home. I walk the perimeter. I check the doors. I look at the windows. Not because I'm paranoid, because I'm alive. And I plan to stay that way." That's not paranoia, that's discipline. And discipline is what keeps you breathing when panic would get you killed. Now some of you are thinking, this sounds exhausting. Looking around all the time, checking doors, making eye contact, never relaxing. And you're right, it is exhausting, for about a week. Then it becomes automatic, because awareness isn't a state of fear, it's a habit. You're not thinking about it any more than you think about putting on your seatbelt. You just do it, and once it's a habit, it costs you nothing. It just runs in the background while you live your life. The alternative is living in condition white until the moment you can't afford to anymore, and by then, it's too late. Because the gap between I should have paid attention and I'm in danger is measured in seconds. And at 70, you don't have seconds to spare. Here's the part most people miss. Awareness doesn't just protect you from strangers, it protects you from accidents. You're aware when you're walking, so you see the ice on the sidewalk before you step on it. You're aware when you're driving, so you see the car drifting into your lane before it hits you. You're aware when you're at home, so you notice the gas smell before it becomes a fire. Awareness is a general-purpose survival tool. The fact that it also stops attackers is just one benefit among many. A woman left a comment. She said, "I live in a country where single older women are the #1 target. I keep 3 dogs. I don't go out late. I tell people my husband and son are home even though I live alone, and I stay aware." Every moment, that comment got hundreds of likes, because hundreds of people understand that survival isn't about strength, it's about strategy, and strategy starts with information, and information starts with awareness. Now let's talk about the science of why your brain is better at this than any camera system ever made. Cameras record everything, which means they record nothing useful. You get 10 hours of footage of an empty driveway, 3 birds, and the mailman. When something actually happens, you watch it after the fact. Awareness filters in real time. Your brain is scanning for threats and discarding everything that isn't one. You don't remember the 50 people you passed in the parking lot who were normal. You remember the one guy who looked at you twice. That's not bias, that's efficiency. Your brain processes context. A man running in gym clothes at 6 in the morning is normal. The same man running in jeans and boots at 2 in the morning is not. A camera sees both as motion. Your brain sees one as a threat. Because your brain understands context in a way no algorithm can. And here's the critical part. Your brain acts on the information in real time. You see the threat, you change your path, you avoid the encounter. A camera sees the threat, records it, stores it, and you watch it later while you're recovering in a hospital. One of those is useful, the other is evidence. The security industry wants you to believe that safety is something you buy. It's not. It's something you do. And the thing you do is stay aware, trust your gut, and make yourself a hard target. That's it. No subscription required. Here's the checklist. Use it today, right now. When you walk into a room, take 2 seconds to see who's there and where the exits are. When you're in public, take your earbuds out and listen to what's around you. When someone approaches you, make eye contact and acknowledge them. When something feels wrong, trust it. Leave. Change your path. Call someone. You don't need proof. You need safety. When you come home, pause in the driveway and look at your house before you get out of the car. If something looks different, don't go inside. Call the police. Let them clear it. When you're at a gas station or a parking lot, keep your keys in your hand and your head up. Watch who's watching you. And if someone is, let them know you see them. That's the whole system. It costs $0. It takes 30 seconds to activate, and hundreds of people credited it with saving their lives. Not because they're paranoid, because they're awake. Always consult with local emergency services and government agencies for specific protocols in your region. Rules change, and most importantly, take care of yourself and your loved ones. Stay safe. Max out.